What's up, everyone? It is Denise Salcedo. Welcome back to the channel. And this is weird because I'm not introducing a wrestling show. I'm not introducing any of that right now. This is a totally different podcast. In fact, this podcast is all for all the lambs out there. Today, myself and Will Washington, hardcore, diehard, extreme Mariah Carey fanatic, is joining me today. And we're going to rank our top 10 favorite Mariah Carey songs. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Will Washington.
Hey,
Will.
everybody. I'm so excited to do this. I wouldn't call myself necessarily a hardcore Mariah Carey fan.
Just a little bit, though, right?
Just a little bit. I think even across the sleeve here.
I love it. You came so prepared for this.
I came prepared. Yeah, it's true. I mean, whether I brought the book or
is that her new book, by the way?
Yeah, that's
the new book. I haven't read it yet.
Oh yeah, there's a lot in this. I also have the audiobook as well. And she reads it, so it's actually a really good read and a really good, like, so much insight into a lot of stuff, like just even the rumors she addresses in them. It's really, really good.
So she really divulges some of the information that, like, fans really want to know.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. This is like a fan dream come true. The meaning of Mariah Carey autobiography. It's really good. But yeah, for those who don't know me, yes, I am Will Washington. I host a plethora of wrestling content on the internet. But wrestling's not my only love. I love Mariah Carey. I have been a fan for a really, really, really long time. And the cool thing was, I don't think Denise even knew this until after the last show she and I did, which was the Crown Jewel preview show. And then it kind of came up at the end, and then and for those who haven't seen it, like, it's on the show, it came up there, and then you were like, I think I have an idea for December, and then I, like, pestered you about it afterwards. I'm like, we have to do this. Like, there's no way I'm letting December go by knowing that there is another lamb in the wrestling community that I can talk Mariah Carey with, and so we're here.
I think there was a part of you that thought, because I told you, like, oh, we should do, like, a Mariah Carey top 10 ranking video. And I think there was a part of you that probably thought that I just said that. But I was like, no, I really meant it. But it was so funny because you kept hitting me up on DM and you were like,
Yeah,
Denise,
like,
we need to do this. When are we doing this?
I dead serious. Yeah, I was like, look, this has to be done. I have been wanting to do this ranking forever. Because here's the thing. This is a woman with, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 studio albums. Then they're all sitting right here. And so picking 10 songs is actually, like, not easy at all. And I've wanted to finally pick, like, my absolute top 10 pretty much since forever, since I've been producing content. And so when Denise even, like, hinted at the idea, I'm like, yes, we got to do this. Let's absolutely do this show. Yes.
Well, now here we are going to be ranking our top 10. And somebody mentioned here, this is from Razor Phantom, who says, Mariah Carey is seasonal for me, just like Hocus Pocus and the Valentine's episode of The Office. So I'm actually reading this because I thought, well, for December, she is the queen of Christmas. So I figured this would be a good in themes with the holidays. So we're going to rank our top 10. You're going to share your top 10. I'm going to share my top 10. We're going to work our way from 10 to number 1. But before we get started, Will, I want to know, how did you become a Mariah Carey fan? And, like, how long has this fandom been going on for you?
So I can't quite fully divulge because it'll give away one of my answers in my countdown.
Okay.
But I will say that it's been probably about, so I'm 34. It's been about 26 years. And it was just like one day, I was watching, so I used to watch Video Soul on BET, hosted by Donnie Simpson. And I remember one day, I heard Mariah, and my first thing was, what is this white woman doing on BET? And then I went and I think I even said that out loud because my mom was like, "Oh, she's mixed," and I was like, "Oh, cool." And so I'm like watching and listening, and I'm like, "This is amazing." And I remember I mentioned it to a kid at school, like we were all talking about our favorite artists, and this was in the third grade, and I was like, I think Mariah Carey is my favorite," and I was like expecting to be made fun of, and somebody else goes, "Oh yeah, she's really good." And these are 8-year-olds talking, right? And so just from then on, uh, she's just been my absolute favorite. And every single time a new single would come out, I would just fall more and more in love. And then in high school, it kind of became like a gag a little bit of like, "Hey, I'm the Mariah Carey guy," which it kind of is now too. It was like, "Hey, I'm the Mariah Carey guy. I love Mariah Carey." But like also in high school was when Emancipation of Mimi came out. So this wasn't like without reason, like her hits were everywhere. And so, yeah, it's just been me. It's like a part of my character that I love Mariah Carey.
It's part of your DNA and who you are. I feel that because that's how I am, but for Taylor Swift. But on the Mariah Carey side of things, I relate to you where you mentioned mentioned being like 8 years old and listening to Mariah Carey. Like I have no idea why I was like a young kid listening to these like really heartbreaking songs, relating to them. Like how was I relating to these songs at that age? It literally made no sense at all. But I grew up a Mariah Carey fan because my aunt was a big Mariah Carey fan. Like that was her idol. So she's along the same boat that you are. And so in my house, there was always Mariah Carey playing. She ended up being the first concert that I ever went to, the first concert that I ever went to.
Stop. Okay, I have to know because there's so many different types of Mariah Carey fans, and they all stem from how and when you discovered Mariah Carey. And so my first question here is, when was this concert?
Okay, so I don't know if this is gonna make you feel bad or make you, I don't know. It was a charm bracelet tour.
Oh my God, really?
Yes.
That's awesome.
I don't know if that makes you feel like bad or not bad. I have no idea.
I first off, I, for one, as I reach over here and grab charm bracelet, I feel like one, that is a vastly underrated album. I almost feel bad that I didn't get any songs from it on my list. But I see a look. Oh, I'm excited. All right. But just that time period was where I feel like Mariah Carey kind of transitioned into being the Mariah Carey I like, know, and love. Because I hear from a lot of people, they always say things like, "Oh, I used to like Mariah Carey until she, became so much of a diva and all of that." And I am the complete opposite of that. Just forewarning. Like, you want humble, you want the girl next door, you want someone you can relate to. Not me. Give me diva Mariah Carey all day. Give me darlings. Give me the sparkle dresses and McDonald's partnerships. Give me all of that shit. That, to me, is Mariah Carey. And I feel like that charm bracelet tour was like where she started to make that transition. So
she did.
I'm all in.
But see, Will, here's the thing though, is that people like to call Mariah Carey a diva, but I'm like, okay, if Mariah Carey has not yet earned the right to be called a diva, who can?
Who can? Absolutely.
Can?
She has absolutely earned that. Nobody else I mean, if she can't, literally nobody can.
Exactly. She earned the diva status. Like, I love Mariah Carey diva. I like her being like, "Oh, I don't know her." Who did she say that about?
J-Lo.
It was about J-Lo.
J-Lo, yes.
That's freaking savage.
Yeah, it's so great. And like the rivalry with J-Lo is like one of my favorite things because sometimes, somehow, some way, J-Lo stands will like end up in my mentions every once in a while. And like J-Lo stands and Mariah stands, like we do not.
You guys don't get along?
Oh, absolutely not. And it all stems from glitter because of the sample, the Loverboy sample. There's a whole story of that on YouTube. I won't dive too much into that, but literally that is where the rivalry came about. And then she had a song called "If We" with Ja Rule. And
J-Lo also had that song with Ja Rule too.
Right, but that was specifically put out to get the jump on Mariah Carey getting it out. And so they've had that rivalry for a long time. It's great. I love their beef. Uh,
See, I wasn't aware of that because I love Jennifer Lopez too. I don't love her as much as Mariah Carey though, because I think Jennifer Lopez, like, I love her movies a little bit more than her music, but I love her music too. But her music is not on the same level, in my opinion, as Mariah Carey's music.
Not even close.
Yeah, exactly.
I am curious though. So everybody is a different type of lamb. And the cool thing about Mariah Carey as an artist is that I feel like she truly does offer something for everyone. My question for you is, what type of lamb would you consider yourself? Do you fall more, like, as we prepare for your countdown, do you fall more on the ballad side of things? Are you into the heartbreak? Do you like more upbeat Mariah? Do you like the club hits?
So this is what's interesting, Will. I went into this because keep in mind, like, all of my favorite Mariah Carey songs, the ones that like I grew up listening to were all the heartbreak ones. And then I feel like she started coming out like with more of like these really like upbeat songs and this and that, right?
You might even say she was emancipated.
She was emancipated.
Yes.
And
Sorry, go ahead.
as I was doing this like ranking, I surprised myself. I thought I was going to have a bunch of heartbreaking songs on here, and I did not. I kind of have a nice mix. Some of the heartbreak songs kind of got shoved off my list, unfortunately. Even though they're great songs, I bumped them off.
Ooh, okay. Interesting, because I kind of went in that same direction. That there's one major heartbreak song that's here, and it's toward the top. But for the most part, I actually do like to have fun when I listen to Mariah Carey. I mean, here's the thing: there's Mariah for every mood I could possibly be in. But I definitely feel like my list is a little more upbeat, I think. And
I thought we were going to be. I feel like we're going to be polar opposites.
Okay.
Because that's what I felt. I thought we were going to be polar opposites. Okay, so before we get to that, I do want to read a couple of comments that we got here. This one is from Kimberly Cecil, who says, "I'm living for Will's Mariah Carey merch." We got Marcus8915, who says Mariah Carey will be the reason why I eat McDonald's again.
It's what the MC in McDonald's stands for, actually. It's Mariah Carey Donald's.
There you go. Ace Shock says, where do you fall on the side of glitter? So do you love glitter? Are you not a fan of glitter?
Are we talking the album or the movie? Because that will
the album.
Two different answers. Oh, the album? Underrated. Completely underrated. I think glitter it's finally getting its due in the last couple of years. Like there was that whole thing where the Mariah stands where all the lambs kind of bombed iTunes and like it ended up bumping glitter really high up the charts, and I think it deserved that because I like glitter. There's a lot of songs I do like on glitter. The movie is like kind of terrible, but my daughter really likes it.
I cried in that movie. I went to go watch it with my aunt, the Mariah Carey fanatic. I went to go watch it with her, and I cried in that movie.
Yeah, like I guess it just depends because like my daughter's 10 and she just watched it recently and she was like, I love it. And I thought, okay, well then maybe it just like wasn't for me. But at the same time, it didn't have to be. The album worked. So that's all right, Billy. But
I love the glitter album. The movie's like, I probably won't watch it, but if I do watch it, it's just to sing along to the songs.
Right, exactly.
All right, so Will, it is officially time for everybody here. It's officially time. We are going to start ranking our favorite Mariah Carey songs. We've chosen only 10, and we're going to work our way from number 10 to number 1. So Will, are you ready? This is it.
I'm ready.
What's your number 10?
My number 10. Obsessed. Look, here's the deal. Eminem has been in a lot of beefs. He had MGK a couple years ago. He's had Christina Aguilera, Will Smith. But only one artist has ever clapped at Eminem and arguably won. And that was Mariah. And that song was Obsessed. Now, I know shady fans in the room are going to bring up The Warning, or I think that's what it was called. But ain't nobody listens to that shit anyway. Obsessed has 177 million views on YouTube. Had a second life on TikTok last year. MC dressed as M in the video. And it hit number 7 on the Hot 100 when it was released. And more than that, it's a song that represented a lot at the time. Like, not just Mariah's beef with Eminem, but the song actually came out during the auto-tune era of music. And Not that Mariah would ever need it, and you wouldn't think she would, but she does it in this song, and somehow it makes the song great because she makes a great use of it, and it remains catchy as hell. Like, honestly, when that song came back on TikTok, I think that was either last year or the year before, it just reminded me of how good it was and how good Mariah could come at somebody the way she did. And to me, Obsessed has to get its due, and it did. Mariah Carey, Obsessed, my number.
And
2.
rightfully so, honestly, because I feel like Eminem, like she's the reason why I don't necessarily like Eminem. Like, even though I like some of his songs, I can't like support him or be a fan of his because I was like, I don't like how he was like, acting about Mariah Carey. So I kind of X'd him out of my like music life.
Right.
Okay. So Will, please don't be mad at me, but I kind of cheated a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Okay. I kind of cheated on my number 10 and I put 2 songs. I swear, this is the only time I did this. I put Fantasy and Sweetheart from the remixes. I thought it was okay because at least it was from the remixes album. So don't hate me. I just could not take one out. And I couldn't do 11. So it's a tie on this one. I swear I didn't do it on any other album.
Because I did take one out, and I feel like I shouldn't have taken one out.
I'm sorry. I was sitting here and I was like, screw it. Will's going to be mad at me. I'm going to have to cheat on this one. So I had to name 2 of them. So they're a tie. They're equally loved.
Well,
great songs.
Me and Mariah go back like babies and pacifiers. Yes, absolutely. ODB on Fantasy. And Sweet. Yeah, honestly, the remix is, Mariah's the queen of the remix. And some of my mentions in here deal with the originals, but the remixes deserve some credit. And the Obsessed remix had Gucci Mane. And I...
And I made the rules,
I agree with
too. I chose the 10 track. I'm sorry. I'm very, very sorry. But it had to happen this way. Anyways, but these are great songs. And off the remixes album, I think I like half of them. And then I don't like the other half. But the half that I do like is very, very strong. And there were other songs where I was like, damn, I could just tie these all in together. But I didn't.
All right. 9 Up better just be single songs.
It is. I swear. Okay. I only broke the rules one time. Track number 9.
All right. Number 9 for me is going to be a little bit more recent because we're dealing with #beautiful.
Oh.
Beautiful. That was my summer 2013 anthem. And of course I say recent and then say 8 years ago because I feel like she and Miguel made magic together on that song. The video, it had such an old school vibe, and it somehow also felt entirely modern for the time. And I feel like Mariah came through with her more mature voice, but she still had her incredible vocals. I think it is a perfectly romantic cut. I am so in on #beautiful. I loved that song from the moment I heard it. Of course, you knew I would, but that one is my number 9.
It's interesting because so far I don't have any of your picks on my list, Will.
Nice.
This is interesting. My number 9, I don't know if this one's going to be surprising or not, but it's Side Effects from E = MC Squared.
MC and YJ.
I freaking love this song.
That song is great.
Starts and it takes you away with it. It takes you away. And what I particularly like is kind of the story. She's kind of talking about being a young girl in love, with this older guy, still suffering from the side effects and still remembering, their Valentines and all of this stuff. I love this song. And I feel like this is a good song. I didn't realize how big of a fan I was of this album until I started going through the songs and going through the tracks where I'm like, shit, there's a bunch of songs from this album alone that could be some of my favorite songs.
I don't think anything on my list is from E = MC Squared. And I feel bad because I love that album. Touch My Body was great. I'll Be Loving You Long Time. I love that album.
How are we so different, Will? Yeah. We're very, very different. I think we're going to have different albums that we like. All right, number 8.
Number 8. All right. I really just kind of threw this one in because I had a tough time including this one. But I kind of threw it in just to throw it at you as a Swiftie because I feel like Mariah's Shake It Off is better than Taylor's. And so therefore,
You could have put the other song that you were talking about.
yeah, I could have. But honestly, I feel like the video was sexy and confident, and it's like the only song in the history of music that's ever mentioned Calgon commercials, and which is a product like most people don't even know of today. I actually think "Shake It Off," like the whole idea behind the emancipation of Mimi was that this was kind of her coming out party, and the album kicks off with It's Like That, and I feel like the way that whole album kind of gets you into this kind of new found Mariah Carey confidence. I feel like "Shake It Off" was kind of the quintessential single for that, and that to me is the main reason it's on the list, but also because of the fact that there's another "Shake It Off" out there that doesn't hold a candle.
See, Will, now I don't feel bad about putting two songs on my number 10. You know what? I don't feel bad. You know what? You were being a little petty now. I was being a little petty with my number 10. I don't feel bad anymore.
All right, fair.
Okay, cool. My number 8, I went a totally opposite direction. Okay, because I think that this song is probably like when you're just feeling like complete and utter crap. This is the song that I feel just like helps me find my core once again. And it's Can't Take That Away, Mariah's theme from Rainbow. This song, this is like when I heard this song when she says like there's a light and like shining bright inside of me and all of that stuff. I was like, I get it, Mariah. I got the light. And because of that, like this is the song that like I will always like start singing. Like I can't bust out this Mariah Carey vocals, but damn it, I try with this song.
I try with every song, but only when no one's around. There's not a chance anybody's gonna hear me do that. But when I'm in my car, those whistle tones would shatter glass.
All right, number 7.
Number 7. Look, I love R&B, Mariah. That is, if you're not noticing a theme here. And I feel like Mariah really got into her R&B groove with, I almost dropped it, my number 7 here. Dream Lover, come rescue me. Yeah, I feel like that was the song that kind of represented her transition into being more of a conventional R&B artist. And I feel like that song has some of the most beautiful use of her whistle tones. Yeah, it to me, look, here's another thing about me that people need to understand, specifically about William R. Washington as growing up as a child. I very badly, and it probably has a lot to do with the reason that I got married at 23, but I very badly wanted to be in love. I just did. Look, when I was a kid, the idea of being in love with somebody was just the coolest thing to me. So Mariah Carey songs that are in that mood appeal to me the most.
I was not expecting this, Will. I'll tell you that right now.
That is me. And you know what? I've probably, in 16 years of podcasting, never said that on a podcast. But
that's
I did.
Scoop right there.
That is the scoop of William R. Washington. That was the thing I wanted more than anything else through high school, through all of that. You talk about like guys who want their body counts, all of that. That was never me. I was the guy who I just so badly wanted to put a ring on it. And like, that was who I was as a guy. And that is partially why so much of Mariah's library appeals to me.
This makes a whole lot of sense now. Mm-hmm. I just thought like, okay, he likes Mariah Carey. You know, a lot of people like Mariah Carey, but now I get it. I get it a little bit more.
Incredible softie. That is just who I am.
Okay, have you seen the movie Moulin Rouge?
Yes.
Okay, you remind me of Ewan McGregor in that movie. He goes, love is a many splendid thing. Love lift us up where we belong. All you need is love.
That's me. And sometimes my wife looks at me like, you are like corny as hell. And I'm like, I know. I'm sorry. But that's me. I am a friggin' romantic. And that is me at the core of my absolute being.
Well, Dream Lover seems perfect for you. And when I think of classic Mariah Carey songs, Dream Lover is one that like instantly pops into my mind. My number 7, I feel this song is sort of, I don't know, maybe you can tell me a little bit more, but it kind of feels a little bit underrated. Like I don't ever really hear people talk about this song that much. So maybe you can correct me on that. I don't know where it lies in the Mariah Carey like fandom world, but my number 7 is Bliss from Rainbow.
Oh, okay. Doesn't
Is
get
this
talked
an
about much at
underrated
all.
song?
Very
Right?
underrated. Yeah, no, doesn't get talked
Right?
about at all. But that's a great song.
Right? Okay, like for me, this song, like it doesn't. This is kind of a forgetful song. I feel like people forget about it, but when you're listening to it, it's so romantic and it's so
It
nice
is.
and it's very soothing. I feel like this song brings out very nice emotions. Personally, I love this song. It's one of my go-to when I listen to Rainbow, so I had to rank it. I was bumping
Rainbow
it just prior to this podcast.
Rainbow really stuck with you because I'm realizing on my list, I don't think I have a Rainbow song on here.
So I've done 2 Rainbow songs so far,
Mhm. Yeah,
and I
I
could
don't.
have added way more.
Yeah, actually, what's funny is the song I removed was from Rainbow. But so that would have been my only Rainbow cut on the entire list, and now it's not there. But I ended up because hashtag beautiful was the song I ended up throwing in there, and the reason I did that was because I didn't want to shade Mariah's recent stuff. Because a lot of people kind of just feel like they can just turn her off after like 2008 or 2005, and I'm like, no, she's still great. Like Caution, I don't have anything from Caution on here, but Caution is a great album. It is.
I feel you, man. I feel you. I think I went more with the old school Mariah Carey type
Mhm.
stuff.
And that's okay. I think
Yeah.
as we get higher on my list, it gets fairly old school.
Number 6.
Number 6. Everybody's gonna be really mad at me for this one,
Why?
and I'm sorry. Probably because they're fucking sick of it right now. But here's the thing: it
Oh,
has to be
out of
mentioned.
all the songs, Will,
It has to be
all of
mentioned. Look,
them.
it has to go on the list, and here's the reason why. It's a absolute classic. And the thing about it is that song came out in 1994, if I'm not mistaken. But it really didn't like take off the way it has until like 2010. I remember it was around the time when she did "Merry Christmas to You," which is another album I have right here. When she did the remake of the song, and then a year later she did the version with Justin Bieber, and like that's when it really started to like enter the mainstream lexicon. And I remember the NBA used it as like one of their anthems, and that's really where I feel like the song suddenly took on like a second life, because it really wasn't that big of a song in the 90s. It didn't even hit number 1 for the first time until a year ago. That was the first time
All
it
I
hit
Want for
number 1.
Christmas, that was the first time it hit number 1?
It was the first time it hit number 1, which is why Mariah Carey is the only artist to have a number 1 hit in the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s, and now the 2020s, because All I Want for Christmas Is You hit number 1 last
Ah.
year for the first time.
I thought that song had been popular for like every Christmas season.
It gets more popular every year, and that's how it finally hit number 1.
Why?
Because
Why?
it's
Like,
such a great song.
it's a great song, but when you worked in retail and you've listened to that song a zillion times, it'll drive you mad.
I'll say this: I somehow managed to avoid major retail during the holiday season. Like when I was younger, I did work retail, and I think I worked at GameStop, and I worked in a mall when I was younger. And so I did have my experience with holiday playlist, or not holiday playlists, but just like mall type playlists. But for whatever reason, I somehow avoided All I Want for Christmas Is You. And I absolutely love that song. It's my ringtone right now.
No.
It is. Oh, I walk in a room and sometimes I want my phone to go off just so everybody can hear it. My alarm is the opening notes right now. Anyway, it's the opening notes. That's my alarm that wakes me up in the mornings. I'm all about All I Want for Christmas Is You. Only reason it's not number 1 is because there are literally 5 songs I love better. But like, there's a reason she is the Christmas queen, and it is specifically this song. As much as I love all her other Christmas songs, and that new one, by the way, that she's got with Khalid is really good as well. If you haven't listened to that, it's excellent. Thumbs up. But All I Want for Christmas Is You had to get a mention from me. I'm sorry. I know people are sick of it. You're only going to get more sick of it because it gets more popular every year. She has a literal movie named after the song now, and the movie is on all streaming platforms now. So like,
She's making bank.
she is making bank.
Yeah.
And my kids love that movie too.
It's not on my list. I'm sorry, Will. In fact, none of the Christmas songs are on my list. Unfortunately.
What? You're just gonna shade "Oh Santa" like that?
I'm just gonna shade the Christmas music. My number 6 is a very romantic song, I feel. It's number 6 is "Underneath the Stars." I love this song.
Number 2 on Daydream. Absolutely.
It's one of my favorite songs. Like, I knew instantly this song was going to be in this top 10. I didn't know where, but I knew it was going to be on there. Every now and then when I'm in a, breezy mood, this is a song that I'll go ahead and play. I love this song.
Now, I have a question. What did you think of the video? Did you watch it?
I don't think I've seen the video.
So, because the interesting story behind the video, of course, was that Mariah tweeted one day, I think it was just like a year ago, because the video just came out. And so she tweeted one day, she was like, I'm pretty sure I filmed a video for Underneath the Stars like 20 years ago.
And she just never published it?
And she was like, and I have no idea what happened to the footage. And then like 2 weeks later, she tweets, found it. And and
I have not seen the video.
Yeah, and most people were like, what do you mean found it? And luckily, I remembered the old tweet, and I'm like, I think she's talking about the Underneath the Stars video. And like, it's not a complete video. She only shot like a couple of scenes for it. So it's so the video ends up splicing like concert footage in conjunction with the footage that she had shot. So she never completed a video for it, but she did like shoot some footage, and it is a fascinating like dive back in time, seeing Mariah Carey in 1995 in footage I had never seen before, singing to a song that I've known since 1995. And that's one thing I like bringing up, by the way. All of these are purchases I made later, all these albums I keep bringing up, except for Daydream. Almost dropped them all.
That was the original?
This is my original copy of Daydream.
Shoot.
Look, it's even broken
from
on
all
the top.
Those years?
Yes, this is my original copy of Daydream. Because it was the first Mariah Carey album I got into. I mentioned 95, so people should know that was the year I got into her. And that's the one.
We got Pile Driver Finisher who says, damn, real Mariah Carey fan right there. That's exactly why I have Will on. He's an expert.
Like, this isn't a gimmick. I am truly into Mariah Carey.
We weren't kidding when we said this was your DNA.
Yes, it is.
I love it. Now we're on to our top 5, Will.
The top 5.
This is the cream of the cream. The cream of the crop. Yeah, the cream of the crop.
The ones that all rise to the top. All right. Here we have kind of a cliche answer, but it's because of the fact that it's so good. This song was such a hit because of the quality. Look,
what is it?
We Belong Together.
Oh, I almost put that one on my list. Almost.
Again, I'm a romantic, and I have had those times before I was married, obviously, that sometimes the relationship didn't work, but man, did I want it to. And man, did I sit around thinking about it. And We Belong Together was that song that hit the spot for me. As some may recall, this was the #1 song of the year 2005, which was the year I graduated high school. And it was on everywhere. And maybe a lot of people were sick of it. But you know what? I wasn't. Every time it came on, I had to drop whatever it was I was doing for We Belong Together. It's a great song. I feel melodically it is extremely underrated. But then rhythmically also, I like more R&B type Mariah Carey songs, and that song to me is a classic. It is, I think, statistically her biggest hit. Her longest rating hit is still One Sweet Day, which is not on my list because, again, I forgot.
Yeah, not on my list either. Although it should be.
Songs. Yeah, it's a good one. But We Belong Together is my number 5.
All right. We got a comment from Kimberly who says a glass of wine and that song on repeat. For reals. For reals. I went total opposite with my number 5, Will. Completely opposite.
Okay.
Give some love to Glitter because I chose Loverboy remix.
Yes. Okay.
I love this song. This song is so much fun. Like, I will bump this song all the time and just like sing my heart out to it. It's so fun.
Now, this song is the catalyst for the J-Lo rivalry. In that there's because the original version of this song did not sample Candy by Cameo. The original version of that song has a different sample. And she actually just released that version last year in the unreleased Mariah Carey album, or the unreleased song she put out last year. That one's on there. And it's the catalyst. But yeah, I love Loverboy remix. Ludacris and Da Brat, and it's great. I love it.
So it's so funny because like I've always like I didn't know anything about Da Brat. Like I only knew the stuff that she did with Mariah Carey, right? Mm-hmm. But like when I kind of discovered like all of those songs, my MySpace name was Da Brat because I really liked the stuff that she was doing with Mariah.
Oh my god, that is an amazing story. I love that.
Yeah. So I was like, I would call myself Da Brat. But anyways, that was such a good song. A very, very fun one. Number 4.
I have to clarify my number 4, actually, because now that you brought that up, I need to add a couple of notes here.
Oh, I'm interested. We're going to write, is it a remix?
It is the remix, and I need to clarify the remix. We'll even put featuring Da Brat and...
I'm excited.
Escape. Because it's Always Be My Baby, the remix featuring Da Brat and Escape. So I love Always Be My Baby. I think it's a great song. I actually wouldn't put the original version in my top 10, though. However, the remix, I absolutely would. I love the remix. I feel like it's like taking a great song and breathing so much life into it. I feel like Mariah Carey's... the passion in her voice in the remix is just a level higher. I feel like the backup vocals from Escape just kill it. And then Da Brat comes in and is just dropping Mariah references. Like the whole verse is just her referencing things from Mariah Carey albums. She references Dream Lover and Emotions and all of that. But I just feel like it all comes together. The video's great. It's all in black and white. That was also one of the first I had ever seen. It's not the first, but that one to me is also a number 1. You know what? I also have to add remix to my number 3. So
hold on, remix.
Yeah, because I need to clarify it. Remix.
So number 4 is interesting because there's remixes of this song too, which I like. See, that's the thing. Like, I don't usually like remixes when artists do remixes because they usually don't end up that well. But I feel like Mariah has been good about her remixes where they're good. Mine's is Heartbreaker. I will take any version of Heartbreaker because I just love the damn song. So even if it has the remix, non-remix, I don't care. I love it.
The remix with Missy Elliott and Da Brat, and then the original with Jay-Z.
So good.
So good, yeah. And you know, that's funny because that song was our introduction to Bianca Storm there was the first video to feature Mariah Carey's arch nemesis, Bianca Storm.
Oh my God, I almost forgot about her.
Yeah. She's been featured in a number of videos, including "Boy I Need You" off of Charm Bracelet. But yeah, I love that song. I love any version of it as well. I'm actually a little more partial to the remix, but I feel like the original was such a unique sound, especially in 1999. I feel bad that one's not on my list because that's a really good one. I love Heartbreaker.
Not even one version of Heartbreaker's on your top 10. I'm shocked.
Because we're now moving into the top 3, and my top 3 are some serious top 3.
What's your number 3?
My number 3. And my number 3 comes with a little bit of a caveat because the story here is actually that the remix of the song is actually the original. And that she recorded the remix first, and then the original came later. And that is Honey, the Bad Boy remix.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good one too.
Because the thing
I didn't know she did the remix first.
Well, yeah, because most of those vocals from Puff Daddy and Mace are still on the original. And that all of that was recorded together, and then when they published the original version, it just doesn't include Mace's verse, but it still includes the Harlem World, We Won't Stop, the Mariah, You on Fire. All of that is still there, but the whole song was all recorded together. Well, the Lox wasn't on it, but Puff Daddy and Mace had all recorded their parts. And then the remix included the Lox, and You Got a Farm Like He'll Shy with a Honey Like Mariah. Like, I love the remix of that song, that Bad Boy remix. Like, okay, when you were 10 years old in 1997, right? And when I say you, I mean me. When I was 10 years old in 1997. I
was 5.
Yeah, you were 5.
Not too bad.
But I was 10 years old in 1997. Let me tell you, as a 10-year-old male in 1997, Puff Daddy and Mace and the Lox wearing them shiny gold suits in that video were the coolest dudes on the planet to me, and they're all just getting to hang out with Mariah Carey, who's just like diving off diving into the ocean and then taking the jet skis and running from Eddie Griffin. Look, all of that stuff was already so cool to me, but then to top that off, the song itself is great. It has the Hey DJ sample, and I feel like this was another one of those, like the whole Butterfly album, I think. And shout out to my dear friend who's probably watching right now, Holly, who is my fellow lamb. And she and I basically spend a lot of our years, we've known each other since 9th grade, and we spent a lot of our years talking about Mariah Carey. She would say Butterfly is probably Mariah Carey's best album. I find it hard to disagree with that. And the big part of that is Honey and where Mariah Carey was mentally with this album. And a lot of it was as she's starting to this was kind of the start of her divorce and her starting to figure herself out. And I feel like Honey was like the perfect representation of that. Now that said, for a little while, it did kind of ruin it for me in that it was pointed out to me that Honey might possibly be a euphemism for semen. And when you listen to it that way, it's not.
Oh,
wrong.
No. No.
I mean, the opening line of the chorus is, and it's just like honey when your love comes all over me. So
no, there's like glass shattering in my head right now. That's not the way I see Honey.
I know. But it's still a great song. Still one of the best.
No.
And I put the word all in there, but it just comes over me. But even still, I don't know.
I'm like, need to refresh now. Okay. Who makes me come run? Okay. I'm going to have to like, it's like honey when it washes over me.
Uh-huh.
No. Oh God. Okay. Now I'm seeing this a whole lot differently. Okay. I'm going to have to, after this podcast, I'm going to go read through the rest of the lyrics. Oh man.
Like somebody on a forum like pointed that out, like I think maybe 15 years ago. And for a little bit, I was like, oh, that kind of hurts. But at the same time, that song is very sentimental to me. I don't give a shit.
And even if it is, who cares? Ignore it.
Even if it is, who cares?
I feel like I'm learning so much, by the way. Like, I'm going to have this newfound knowledge coming out of this podcast of Mariah Carey. I love this. Number 3, I was shocked that you did not have this song like the regular version on your list, because for me it's the regular version that does it. Always Be My Baby. I love the regular version. This was my first favorite Mariah Carey song. This was actually my favorite song period for a very long time. So for me, song. like the original version is the version that I've most know, most appreciate, most love. So I had to put it on my number 3.
I'm glad you did. It's a great song. And honestly, if this was a top 20, it'd be there. I discovered Mariah through BET. And so anytime she did have a remix that had Black artists on it, they usually played that over the other versions. And so the first version I was exposed to was the remix. And so when I heard the other, I was like, oh, it's good, but it's like kind of
you're like it feels naked without it.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of downbeat. So I was like, so I get that. And either way, it's a great song. Always Be My Baby is excellent.
So this is it. This is the official top 2 songs. Yes. What was your number 2?
Number 2. All right. Here's the thing. I listen to the song, I honestly have to confess, like maybe once a day. It's that good to me. And I'll never get sick of it. So number 2 is Breakdown featuring Bone Thugs and Harmony. So like Mariah Carey as an artist, I feel is unmatched lyrically. I think her depth lyrically is so good. Uh, and I feel like she has a really, really good vocabulary. Like people always talk about the vocabulary of Mariah Carey, right? Like,
Yeah.
you think about the fact that like, think about "Always Be My Baby" and how like who's used the word indefinitely in a hook? She has,
Yeah.
right? But then like if you want to really put that to the test, "Breakdown" is the song to do that, and it featured Bone Thugs and Harmony, who at the time and is still known for the rapid lyricism. They were the fast rappers of the '90s. So you have Bone Thugs and Harmony, you have Mariah Carey, and like whenever Bone Thugs and Harmony did a feature, one of the things that the feature was always known for was trying to keep up with Bone Thugs and Harmony. Like their most famous feature, Notorious Thugs with Notorious B.I.G. and his famous verse of keeping, and he was able to keep up in that verse lyrically with Bone Thugs. And what's kind of cool about Breakdown is that Mariah Carey also does. I feel like there's always been a lot of like R&B rap crossovers, and it's usually like a clash of styles. Whereas surprisingly, Mariah and Bone were so similar in that the way they harmonize and the way that she sings, and they were almost just so able to come together so well. And it's a heartbreaky song. And I mean that's the song is literally called Breakdown, and it is about Mariah and her being essentially dumped and trying to keep up the facade of being okay with it. But once she is alone, she breaks down.
It's simple as that.
It's a great song. I love it. That's my number two. I listen to it a lot. And honestly, I had a hard time not putting it at number one. I think it's an excellent, excellent song.
So I'm very shocked at how different our lists have been.
I'm
But
glad it is
there's so
different,
many
though.
songs though. Like there's so many songs where like I'm sure like there's people on here that are like, nope, my list would be entirely different, or however people want to make their list. Now, for my number two, I feel very strongly about this song. Very, very strongly, because I think this was one of the songs that when like I first listened to it, I think you mentioned like heartbreak and going through like all of the drama of like losing, wanting to be with someone and that person rejecting you and them not wanting to, not the person that you love, not loving you back. I've been in that situation. Okay. I've been there. All right. And the song that got me through it was My All. This song is amazing. This is a beautiful freaking song. I'm sorry, but like, I love this freaking song.
Amazing.
I love it.
I love that song. Again, Butterfly is arguably her best album, and My All was one of the top singles on that album. I feel like, honestly, the two best songs on that album probably are. Well, no, because Honey's on there. Like, honestly, there's a lot from that album that are really good, but My All is excellent. I think that is a great choice.
So good.
Yeah, oh, funny story really quick about Breakdown. Little bit of background on that song because Mariah's told this story before, and it's a really great story and why this song is the number two to me. So Mariah used to battle a lot with record executives because she loved doing crossovers with hip hop artists. And record executives were always like, yeah, that's fine, but always make sure that you have a version without said hip hop artist so we can release it to the white stations and you'll get the top 40 play that you're going to get. And Breakdown was one that she fought hard for because they wanted a version without Bone Thugs and Harmony. And she said that there is no version without Bone Thugs and Harmony. The song does not work without Bone Thugs and Harmony. And she fought to get that song released as a single because they were going to, they pushed back on it. They were honestly not going to allow it to happen. And she fought for it. And like Bone has a version of it. There was a remix that they put out that has extra verses from Lazy Bone on it. But she fought for that song, and that's another reason why it's near and dear to me because like it was very near and dear to her. She felt like that was an important song to her.
Yeah, because you look at all these songs and she has like the version, without the rappers. I never knew that was like the reason why.
Oh yeah, that's the thing with record executives. Like they want to be able to push them to top 40 stations that aren't gonna offend their white listeners or whatever it is, and so they
interesting.
When they have hip hop crossovers, They usually prefer that their mainstream acts don't have them. And she fought for that one. And then after that, she just stopped doing it. Like after, I think 2002, she was basically like, no, you're going to take the hip hop artist or leave it. But that's
she was kind of like Mariah freaking Carey. So at that point, it's like,
she
you let her do what she wants.
Oh, number one, though.
So number one, this is it. The ultimate, the very best Mariah Carey songs.
So I had to go with the song that hooked me. The song that grabbed my attention. The song that made me see Mariah Carey and go, this is the artist for me. And it is a song that also I probably listen to, if not daily, probably 4 or 5 times a week. It is a song that if it comes on, everything stops. It is a song that, for people who have known me a long time, I used to host a show called Now Playing Now. We used to have these video bumpers. There's a video of me singing. This is a song that I went to a basketball game with a friend, and they played it over the loudspeaker, and this friend and I were just singing and dancing to it. It is a song that is an absolute classic. If you pop in Daydream, it's the first song you hear. It is fantasy. It is sweet, sweet, sweet fantasy. Look, I saw that video, Mariah Carey on that roller coaster, and I was just sold. This was the one. This was the one that I knew. And you know what's funny? Here's another little tidbit people don't know. Some people may know this if you're Mariah Carey fans. If not, so the podcast that I used to host before I started hosting Grapsody, RBR Weekly Wrestling Talk, it's a show that's still going. B-Rob and Cody and Paul are doing a great job manning the ship of RBR that I hosted for 16 years. The theme song of RBR contains two Mariah Carey samples, 2 samples from the video of Fantasy. And I managed to get that by so many people on a wrestling podcast because it meant that much to me. This song, Fantasy, is everything. Everything you could want in a Mariah Carey song. Fantasy is it. It's upbeat. It's powerful. It's got the Tom Tom Genius of Love sample, and just it's Mariah. It's the reason she and I go back like babies and pacifiers. That's the song that line comes from. The remix. It was on Denise's list, technically, at the other side of it.
Yeah, the remix, yeah.
Which is why when you had Fantasy at the end, I thought, oh, this is going to be perfect because now we'll flip this.
That's true. We flipped it.
Because I'm on the other side of it. Yeah. Fantasy is my absolute favorite Mariah Carey song. It's so good. It's flawless. I feel like there is 0 things I would change about that song, and it still just hits in every way. You want to dance, that song's got it. If you want to sing along, that song's got it. Fantasy is the best Mariah Carey song to me.
Well, while you made some very great points, I feel that the greatest Mariah Carey song of all time.
So curious.
The very best. I wish I wrote this song. I wish I created this song because this song is just freaking phenomenal. When I saw her perform this song, I died 100 times. It is Bringing on the Heartbreak from the Charm Bracelet.
You have a Charm Bracelet song at number 1. That rules.
Number freaking 1. This is my song. You have no idea how much this song captivated me the second I heard it. And this was the reason, this song was the reason I really got into the album, period. Because I started listening to yes, it's so freaking good. And of her vocals in this song and just the way that she starts it off, the lyrics, everything. This is my song. I love this song. I think this is and it's crazy that I thought you were going to have I thought I was going to get shamed for not having Vision of Love on my top 10 because that's such a popular song. But I honestly think that this one is worlds better.
I was just listening to Charm Bracelet earlier today. I was making breakfast and I just, my daughter wanted to listen to something. And after she had played that, I had just said, hey, Google, play. Oh, shit, I shouldn't do that because it's actually going to do it. And I don't want to get your channel demonetized. But I had said, I just said play Charm Bracelet. And so I went through the whole album today and forgot how much I like songs off of Charm Bracelet. But Bringing on the Heartbreak was one of them.
And I Only Wanted almost made it onto the list too. I mean, Through the Rain, awesome. Boy, I Need You.
I
I
love Boy I Need
love
You.
that
I love
song.
yeah,
Yes.
I love and I love the video for that one too.
Yes.
And then also Clown was also about Eminem, by the way. That is another song that was an Eminem diss. That was the
Oh.
first Eminem diss. And there's even a line in that song specifically, and I don't want to butcher it, so let me make sure I look that up. But the line
We got
where was
Carissa
it?
Lopez who says, "I'm shocked you didn't have Vision of Love on your top
I
10. It's still a
know.
bop." I feel like it's one of those songs that I love, but for me, like it didn't have that special place in my heart though, like some of these other songs did.
It's where she says, "I should have left it at I like your music." That line is one of those, like, obviously she had a rough
Yeah.
time with Eminem, and that was that. But
Well,
yeah,
there
hey,
we
what a time!
did it.
We did
We
it.
had
This is
such
it. This
different
was
lists.
fun.
So I think we only had one song, which was Always Be My Baby, but the different versions that we shared on the list together. Everything else was different. Oh, and Fantasy.
But honestly, for us to have named 18 different songs at that point, then I love that. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
So for people
totally
who like,
different.
for people who don't know Mariah Carey music, like, I hope you stuck through this. But if you did, if you did, you may have discovered some songs you may not know. I wanted to give some shout outs to some honorable mentions since they didn't get mentioned
Please.
by any of us. I love Stay the Night off of the Emancipation of Mimi. It's if you're into like mid 2000s Kanye West production, he does the instrumental on that one, and I feel like Mariah like really fights with her voice on that song. It's a good one. I love Stay the Night. Also the roof off of Butterfly is also a really good one that I feel is an important one, especially if you read the book. You'll learn there's a lot to that story. And that's also shout out to my friend Holly. That's one of her favorites. And yeah,
I need to read the book, period.
yeah, it's a good book. It's a really good read, especially if you're a fan. And,
Is the audiobook on Spotify?
I don't know. I got it off of Audible. So
Oh, okay. I'll probably look for it online. I'll listen to the audiobook. I want to give some honorable mentions to Love Takes Time. I almost put that one on there. I almost put I Don't Want to Cry. Almost put that one on there. Against All Odds. I almost put that one in
Against All
there.
Odds, yeah.
So
That's one of the good covers from Mariah, because one of the things, because I remember this interview she did in 2002. Somebody asked like, "What's your favorite song that you've written?" And she goes, "Well, all of them, because I wrote all of them." Because if that's the cool thing about Mariah is that we're not just talking about a singer, we're talking about a singer songwriter. She, if unless it's a cover, she wrote it. She wrote them. She wrote.
Yeah,
these.
she did.
MC. We need an MC.
Crybaby. Crybaby, I almost put on my list.
You really
And
liked
then-
Rainbow. Rainbow really spoke to you.
I really
as an
did.
album.
And then I almost put the one that she did with Busta Rhymes, the Baby, if you give it to me.
Yeah,
Yes,
know what
I
you want.
love
That's
that
a good
one too.
I almost put that on my list, except I was like, I need my qualifier was that Mariah Carey had to be the
main artist?
Yes, not
Yeah.
the featured artist.
That's why I
Otherwise,
didn't
that's a
put
good
that one too, but I thought about putting that one as well. And then I Only Wanted from Charm Bracelet. I wanted to put that one too. And there was a bunch from E equals MC squared where I was like, ooh, I like that song more than I expected to like it.
Yeah, there's a lot. Honestly, she has such a great vast library of music. Like, I hope people now understand this about me, that it's not just like a gag that I like Mariah Carey music. I like Mariah Carey music, like, and it's not just like I find her hot kind of thing. I like genuinely love her music. I think she makes incredible music. I think she is I truly do think she's the greatest artist that I have lived to witness. And there's not a whole lot else to say. I think, and she is a generational artist. There's so many. When I hear people talk about the different Mariahs that they grew up with, like Sabrina Carpenter had mentioned that she was like, "Oh, I love Mariah Carey," and she mentioned a song that came out in like 2018, and she was like, "Yeah, that's like one of my favorites." And I'm like, "Jeez,
You're like, what's happening
yeah,
here?
but I think that's cool. That
Yeah,
like, for
the
me,
longevity.
Yeah, because for me, it was 95 Mariah that I got into, right? But somebody older than me would say, well, no, because like Mariah from 1990 is the one to get into. But then somebody younger, the
What year
fact that
did Rainbow come out in? Because
Rainbow
that's
came
the
out in
one.
99. 99,
There.
and you're 5 years younger than me. And that album came out 5 years after I discovered Mariah Carey, or 4 years after. But even still, so like, I feel like everybody kind of gets into around the same point, but there's different music that speaks to you, and that's really cool. Either way, Mariah Carey is the GOAT. I've only seen her once in concert, but it was totally worth it, and if I could do it again, I absolutely would. So if she picks up her Las Vegas residency again, I am getting there. But
I'll be there with you. I want to go. I've only seen her once too, so I would like to see her again. She was my first and only, well, not my first and only concert, but my first and only Mariah Carey concert.
right.
Alrighty, Will. Well, there you go. We did our ranking. I want to thank you so much for like literally like coming on here and doing this video with me. It was very fun to kind of learn so much about Mariah Carey because I didn't know all this stuff. So I was very happy to kind of get some insight into some of these songs. But before we go, please feel free to plug in like anything you want to plug in.
For sure. Yeah, there's my Twitter handle there at the bottom of the screen. I am William RBR. I host a professional wrestling show called Grapsody with Phil Lindsay and Righteous Reg. And you can find that every Saturday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. That's at youtube.com/Fightful. You can also follow Grapsody Pod. And yeah, I kind of venture here and there doing everything else wrestling related. So if you follow me, William RBR, that's also my Instagram. You can follow me there too. You'll usually find me doing something wrestling related. I literally am going to be doing a wrestling podcast here in like 2 hours. And so, yeah, just check me out there, and that's where you can follow me.
Fantastic. Guys, make sure to give Will some love. I also made sure to include his link in the description box below, so you can just click it, follow him, give him some love. I really thank you for doing this podcast with me. For myself, subscribe to the channel, Twitter and Instagram at _Denise Salcedo. Thank you guys so much for watching.
And let us know your top 10.
Yes. Oh, thank you. I had that banner. Thank you. And I almost forgot to post this up in the comment section, guys. Please drop your favorite Mariah Carey songs, your top 10. You could cheat like me, put one at a tie. It's okay.
No, you can't. No, you can't. You absolutely can't. Don't be a cheater like Denise. You do this honestly.
All right. You can either be a cheater like Denise or don't be a cheater like Denise. But either way, put up your favorite Mariah Carey songs in the comments section. Make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Enjoy. Bye, everybody.